But let's get into the best news of the evening. Tom Brady is back at it again. He comes out, he goes, I can't. I'm taking 2 months off. I can't see myself not on the football field. Daddy's back. I'm playing in Tampa. Unfinished business, LFG, let's fucking go. And let's fucking go. Yes, sir. I am beyond stoked. Bro, to be honest with you, Tom Brady, I don't know why he doesn't call us. At this point, we should change our name from Hightop Sports to the Adam Schaffer breaking news, because we called the retirement 2 months before. We called the unretirement 2 months before. We have been ahead of this since the beginning. Look, we've been wrong too. We're not going to say that either, but it's been rare. Okay? With this Tom thing, we are
Sons in four.
Hey, Sons in four. We are dialed in when it comes to Tom. All right? I'm beyond stoked. I want to know what made him come back. Right now, Vegas is in complete mayhem because they have to rechange all of their bets, all of the odds. It's a complete new sweep. So it's also interesting to see what people made bets on, because they were able to buy in before Tom. This is a huge variable that's going to change everything.
Look, it didn't feel like Tom ever retired. I mean, if we go back and we look at it, the news came out and it was almost like a sneak that Schefter put out there that all of a sudden Brady retires. If you're talking about the greatest quarterback of all time, which I believe in my history of watching football, he is the GOAT. That's not the send-off. What happened this year was not the send-off.
Not the way you go.
Greatest quarterback of our time. Yeah, that's not how it goes out. So I never felt like he was completely out of the NFL. It just felt weird.
So listen how much this is going to hurt. Football Fan 28 just said, don't forget Brady's last touchdown just sold an auction yesterday for over $500,000. So that sold for $500,000 because it was Tom Brady's last touchdown. Oops.
Well, it's a good thing you got your money now. Because whoever's now holding the item, they're pissed.
Well, no. So does it have more value now? Does it have more value because now it's the loophole year, right? It's the fake send-off ball. I mean, I'm obviously making this stuff up, but it's gonna look. Its value is seen from the beholder. So if they see that, hey, this is gonna have more value now because it was his fake retirement. It all depends on how this year goes, but that guy is probably punching air right now. I mean, it's Tom Brady football, but that hurts.
That stings a little. I'm not sure if anybody's aware of this, but Nathan McKinnon just scored.
Yeah, so I did see that. I did see that. We've got there's no name here. I don't know if this is their name. I think this is their name. I don't know. It just says Trask greater than Tom. There's no name. If that's their YouTube name, I'm a full fan. I will subscribe to that channel because that is incredible. There's no name there. Like, that isn't in place of where the name should be. I don't know what's going on here. Gronk just said he's coming back, which we talked about that as well. I think they have to work on. So we talked about getting what's his name? I always draw blanks on these shows. Who was the Chris Godwin? We talked about him going to Jacksonville. Now does he come back? Right? Is he going to be more likely to come back to Tampa because Tom's there? That's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be a wild one to see. Joe said I really wanted to see Trask.
If they could re-recruit Antonio, now I'm impressed.
No. Joe said he wanted to see Trask's career get started this year. Maybe Tampa will trade him. I don't disagree, but I also think it's great for him to have another year behind Tom. I really do. As much as we wanted to see Trask get going, one more year is not going to hurt him. Look what it did for Jimmy. I think it paid dividends for him. So I hope they don't trade him. I don't think Tom's going to have that much more time, but who knows? I don't know. This is weird, man. It's weird how he retired. It's weird how he's coming back. I almost feel like, I don't know. I need more. Muddy said Godwin got tagged. Muddy, we got to get Muddy on the payroll. This guy's dialed in. All right, good. I was wondering what was going to happen with him. So they gave him the tag. So he's coming back. So look, maybe that's, I want to know what sparked this decision, right? What sparked the initial decision? And there's no way in 2 months you just had you just woke up today. Again, we sprang forward, so maybe he just felt better because he had a longer sunlight. That could possibly be that could be it.
possible. It's possible. It's look. It could be anything. I mean, the sunny days in Tampa versus the winter of New England. I don't think anybody is surprised by this. I mean, it caught us off guard because nobody thought it was going to happen right now. But it's
a little
just
soon.
now the end. Well, it's just now the end of free agency, right? Rodgers just recommitted. Now you have Brady recommitting, coming out of nowhere. But I mean, if you're Garoppolo, you're in deep shit. You're running out of spots.
Yeah.
So maybe Indianapolis all of a sudden.
I mean, Jimmy's still in. He still has his role in 49ers. But look, maybe this was a chess move, right? Maybe Tom took a step out, which made other teams act differently, right? Maybe he wanted to see, like, he wanted to force a hand. Maybe he wanted to force Packers to pay Aaron. Because if Tom stays, do the Packers stick with Aaron? I don't know, right? Maybe Tom's playing chess and we're over here just playing checkers. He's like, hey, if I act like I'm pulling out, maybe they'll go like, all right, cool. The threat's gone, right? In the NFC now with Tom. So hey, Aaron's like, I'll stay, right? I won't go over to Denver in the AFC. I don't know, right? I'm thinking here. So now he signs. They trade for Russell, right? I mean, Seahawks weren't really anything last year, and now Tom's like, all right, I'm back. I see how the cards fell. Feeling pretty good. The Panthers are talking about trading Christian McCaffrey, which would weaken that team a little bit. I mean, right now around that division is weak. There's nothing going on right now, and nobody landed in New Orleans. Maybe that what he was waiting on. I don't know. I'm guessing here, right? But what are we working with?
Look, I mean, TB12 has always been a player's guy. Like he's of course he's always been like a franchise guy. He's bought into the franchise, but he's really always been kind of an ambassador for the players. And look, it's a weird timing push where Russell's traded, Rodgers stays. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he comes back. You're right. There is still nobody in New Orleans, but now McCaffrey's potentially on the block. It seems a little bit like these agents and the players themselves,
bro.
They talk offline, and they because look, if you're a players guy and you're always here to be an ambassador for these guys, you know how to leverage your own market. And it feels weird. Like Rodgers stayed, Russell's traded, TV's back in what, 3-4 days?
Craziness.
It's all happened in 3 or 4 days.
Craziness.
This isn't somewhat coordinated. Like, I'm not trying to piece together the theory called fusion. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there's some kind of collusion here.
Sure.
But it would be silly of us to think that there's only 32 starting quarterbacks, and you don't think that they ever have a conversation offline in order to help one another out when it comes to contract negotiations, to trades, to just different things to leverage one another. It's a very, very, very small commodity.
Sure.
And every NFL team needs it. So if you put your value there and then you start to use one another to maybe, like you said, play chess instead of checkers, I don't think that's outside like the realm of possibility here. It just, again, with the timing of things, it just looks like
there's some collusion going on.
Things went the quarterback's way.
Sure. Muddy says, wonder if Brady got into a bad fight with his wife and was like, I'll show you. I hope not. I love those too. Muddy brings up a good point. Dude, it's crazy. I had a whole send-off video for Tom where, like, it was emotional. I cried during it, right? Like to me, I thought my childhood was over. Tom said, hold my beer. Right? But he says, look, he feels bad for Jordan Love, Kyle Trask, these new guys, that new wave that we were talking about. You're going to have to wait one more year, big dogs. Gotta wait one more to eat. And also, too, the new guys, the new wave we talked about, right? The Josh Allens of the world, the Joe Burrows, the Mahomes, the Herberts. They still got to go through these big dogs. They're not ready to hand it off. And look, I feel like I'm now becoming the old guy, right? Like, because my guys are retiring, so it's cool to see, like, look, we're still holding. It's weird. Like, I'm obviously not as old as you, but, like, you're like old. But I'm on the old side now. I'm not on the young side. Like I'm not coming in with the new group and the new youth and like, hey, like that the rebellious part, right? I'm kind of like I'm slowing down a little bit, right? I'm getting old.